Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really influential book, Nir Eyal's Hooked. We're going to unpack the blueprint for how some of our favorite products get us to form habits, sometimes without us even realizing it.
All right, let's just kick things off with a number. 150. So what's that? Well, according to industry insiders, that's roughly how many times a lot of us check our phones every single day. I mean, that's just a wild figure, right? And it really points to something much, much bigger going on.
And that brings us to what the author, Nir Eyal, says so plainly. Face it, we're hooked. You know, these technologies we use all the time, they're not just simple tools anymore. For so many of us, they've turned into compulsions, and they're literally changing the way we live our lives.
So you gotta ask, how does this even happen? Is it just a happy accident that some apps are so engaging? Or is it all by design?
Well, to really get it, we need to talk about what a habit actually is. Psychologists call them automatic behaviors triggered by situational cues. But really, all that means is it's the stuff we do without even thinking about it. And Nir Eyal's whole argument is that these habits, they are very, very often engineered on purpose.
And for the companies behind these products, getting you to form a habit isn't just some nice little feature. No, it's their core strategy. It's how they survive and grow in a super crowded market. Think about it. The companies that really win are the ones that become first to mind. The second you feel a little bored, what do? Maybe you open up Twitter. Feeling a bit lonely? You're scrolling through Instagram. See, they've managed to link their product directly to your feelings and your daily routines. This all leads to this idea that Eyal calls the habit zone. And for a product to get into this zone, it needs two key things. First, you have to use it a lot. That's high frequency. And second, you have to actually think it's useful. That's high perceived utility. Get those two right, and you are in the habit zone. And this is where things get really interesting. He talks about how these products evolve from vitamins to painkillers. You know, they start out as a vitamin, a nice to have, something that maybe feels good. But once that habit kicks in, bam, it becomes a painkiller. It's now a must-have that you use to scratch a specific itch you feel you just can't ignore.
Okay, so the big question is, how do companies actually do this? How do they build these habits and turn that vitamin into a painkiller? Well, luckily for us, Eyal lays out the exact blueprint.
And it's called the hook model. It sounds simple, but it is incredibly powerful. It's a 4-step loop, and its entire job is to connect your problem to their solution again and again and again until using their product becomes totally second nature. So let's do it. Let's break down this cycle and see exactly how they get us hooked, step by step.
Okay, step one is the trigger. I love this analogy. It's the spark plug that starts the engine. It's what gets everything going. And you have to remember, every single habit starts with some kind of trigger. No exceptions.
Now these triggers, they come in two main flavors. You've got your external triggers. Those are the obvious ones, right? A notification popping up on your phone and email. But here's the clever part. The real goal for these companies is to connect their product to your internal triggers. We're talking about your emotions, your routines, that exact feeling of boredom or loneliness we mentioned just a minute ago.
All right, after the trigger comes the second step, the action. Because, a trigger is totally useless if you don't actually do something, right? And this action is always done because you're hoping for some kind of reward.
And the key to getting you to take that action, make it dead simple, as easy as humanly possible. Think about Pinterest again. The action is just a single mindless click on an interesting photo. The less friction there is, the more likely you are to do it. It's that simple.
Okay, now we get to the really juicy part, the secret sauce of the whole model. Step 3, the variable reward. And I want to stress that word, variable. This isn't just getting the same old boring thing every time. This is a system built on novelty and surprise, and it's what creates that intense craving. This whole thing taps directly into our brain chemistry. When you're anticipating a surprise reward, your brain releases a shot of dopamine. And dopamine isn't about pleasure, it's about wanting, about desire. It's literally the same reason slot machines are so addictive. It's what keeps our thumbs scrolling and scrolling, always hunting for what's next.
And that brings us to the final step in the loop, investment. This is where you, the user, are asked to put a little something back into the product. It could be your time, your data, some effort, even your reputation or social connections. But this isn't just busy work. When you invest, say by pinning something on Pinterest or following someone on Instagram, you're doing two things. First, you're making the product even better for you the next time you use it. And second, you're loading up the next trigger, getting it ready for the next time you go through the hook. It just makes the product stickier and a whole lot harder to walk away from.
So when you put all four of those steps together, trigger, action, variable reward, investment, you realize this is way more than just a business lesson. It's a blueprint for influencing human behavior. For anyone creating a product, it's basically a superpower.
That's the whole game. The hook connects your problem with their solution over and over and over until it becomes a habit you don't even have to think about. And having this knowledge, well, it gives innovators this incredible, almost unprecedented power to shape how billions of us live our lives.
But, with great power comes great responsibility. Eyal shares a great quote from one of his readers. If it can't be used for evil, it's not a superpower. And that's the thing. This power forces you to think about the ethics of it all, the morality of manipulation, and the responsibility to build things that actually improve people's lives.
So this hook model, it really is the blueprint for the next wave of products that are going to shape our world. The real key, Eyal argues, is to use it to build healthy habits, to help people do the things they already wanted to do, just better. And that leaves us with a big final question. What will we do with this knowledge?